And we are live. Hello, guys, and welcome to the Fleming Film Show with me, Robbie Fleming, and of course, JD the Viewmaster is here joining me, Mr. Justin Doyle. Hello, Justin.
Hello, Rob. How's it going today?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been a lot more happier this week, and because I'm in a good mood, I wanted to talk about my top 10 favorite movies of 2022, and you're gonna tell me your top five.
That's right. Yeah, so since you have doubled me because I feel like this is a stink year so far, you'll do two and then I'll do one and then you do two and I'll do one. But yeah, unfortunately at this time last year there was a lot better movies that at least like clutched my grip and kept me thinking, about it. There are some great movies. I mean, even Elvis is a really good movie, but it's not the best movie of the year, or did I have the most fun in the theater watching it as I
I
did,
did. I did when I watched it last week. The other day, I had a heck of a time. I can't wait to talk about it.
yeah, it's a good film, but all these other ones on my list either I had a great time at the theater or just a really good time watching it, and would rewatch it right now, and some of them could potentially be up in
Do you
my
ever do
favorites
what
of
I
the
do
year,
and
but
sometimes dislike a movie first time, again rewatch it and realise that you actually like it?
what was the question?
I said, have you ever watched a movie and didn't like it the first time, but then gave it a second chance and liked it the second time?
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
can't
No,
think.
that's gonna be a completely different episode one day.
Yeah, well, the response is not going to be Step Brothers, that's for sure.
No, no, I don't expect you to like everything I like, and you don't expect me to like everything you like. So there are like some. It's just with some movies they are a bit complex, and you have to like give them certain rewatches. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a great example. The more you watch it, the more you fall in love with it, and then you head round the story and everything.
Yeah, I like that one immediately. That was a good one for me. Yeah, I can't really think of any off of the top of the dome right now, but yeah, I'm sure there's some out there. I mean, it's tough because if I didn't like something the first time, then I doubt I'm gonna like it the second time. But I'm sure there's one or two movies out there.
Awesome. We'll have to do a full episode on that one day.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a bunch of movies out right now that I haven't seen yet that are on a lot of people's top lists. I just want to talk about a few of them because I know that they're worth talking about. Number one, and it's also number one on Rotten Tomatoes with 100%. This is one that I'm really mad at myself that I didn't go see yet. Is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
I need to see that one.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Happening is 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is on a lot of top people's lists.
I've not seen that one.
Yeah, I guess France, 1963. Annie is a bright young student with a promising young future ahead of her, but she falls pregnant.
And I need to
So,
see the films that are being at Cannes as well. Like I want to see Decision to Leave and Broker. I think it's called, the South Korean one.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, I want to see them.
Great Freedom has been talked about a lot. I believe that has like a homosexual undertone to it in Germany. Cow is a documentary that is
I
out.
want to see that.
Yeah. Linguini, The Sacred Bonds is for some reason on a lot of people's
Is it
lists.
a Ratatouille spin-off?
Yes, it is. Let's see, one more that people are talking about. Oh, Benediction is another one.
Yes, that was on briefly at my cinema, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I like Peter Capaldi, so I might give it a go.
Yeah. And then one of my friends just told me about Hit the Road, which is international film that's really sweeping the nation right now.
Oh,
So, yeah, but
I'm going to start trying to investigate that one.
yeah, I think it's on Kino Lorber right now to
Awesome.
rent. But yeah, there's still some movies that are good to talk about. So why don't we chat our favorites of the year?
Yes. So do you want me to say my number 10 or my number 9?
Might as well.
Yes. So my number 10 I'm only going to talk about quickly because I've spoken about it before. It's The Phantom of the Open. I really like this movie because it's a British heartwarming comedy. And I do love, as I'm British, I do like my British comedies. And this one felt like it was like the best one in like years and years and years. Yes, because I feel like with some British comedy films, they're just cheap and corny and just are more performance driven rather than just written really well. But this one had the writing and the performances. You have some Mark Rylance and Sally Hawkins, who we all know are powerhouse actors, and they're really brilliant. And so is Rhys Ifans in his supporting role. I'd say out of my favourite golf movies, obviously I love Happy Gilmore. This would be number one, and it has a good message because even though he tries to do golf and he's not good at it, the point is he doesn't care. He just wants to try and enter these tournaments, and that's what makes it a good film for me. It's all about how he tries. It's a bit like Whiplash, not Whiplash, Whip It, the Drew Barrymore one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is one I still want to see. It's there's also one called The Duke.
How have you not watched it before? Have any of my words on the film sold you on it?
Yeah, but it's tough for me to go to pay for a movie because I have a card, whatever, I can go unlimited to the theater.
Yeah, a membership.
So it's membership. It's hard for me to pay for a movie that I'm like, oh, I could probably wait and see that at home for free maybe. But yeah, it's not in a lot of theaters out here. This one also, which was The Duke, was another one that's a British comedy movie that came out.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed in that one. It's a good movie. It just again because I see the trailers like in and out at work. I see them like 3 times a day. It looked like it was going to be a really good movie.
Yeah, this movie is only playing in West Park, which is in Irvine, so it's like an hour away to go see it.
Yeah, not point because you got to think about obviously fuel money as well as just like tickets and drinks and stuff.
Yeah, and fuel is really high up here. How much is it where you guys live?
So I have a diesel car, which is a little bit more expensive, and it's like nearly £2 a litre.
£2 a litre. Let's see how much that is, because it's £2 to dollars. It's 2.42 in the United States. Okay, mine is $6.30.
Is that per litre or per gallon?
Per gallon.
That sounds like more than a litre.
No, I think there's how many gallons in a liter? 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So yeah, yours. If that's the case, then yours is like 8. No, a gallon's more. So yeah, 0.26 is to the liter for a gallon. So dang, yeah, you have it lucky out there. That's what we're saying. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is.
By the way, Phantom of the Open's 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, 91% audience score. So it's doing really well this year. 7.3 on IMDb.
Lovely. I don't know the box office record though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna have one. Yeah, nothing worth talking about. $3 million, but it doesn't have the box office like budget. The production budget.
You ready for my number 9? So this was one of your favourites of last year because you got to see this one early, and it's Joe Wright's Cyrano.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be on your list. Yeah, it was on my list for last year because it was a 2021 release.
I think it got released later and got delayed a little bit later in the UK because of obviously the new COVID variant.
Yeah. Well, tell me about this movie that I love so much.
So, Cyrano de Bergerac, who is in the original play has a big nose, but in this adaptation, he's a dwarf played by Peter Dinklage. everybody despises him because he's different from everybody else. But deep down, he has a sweetheart and he's good at poetry and writing love letters. He's in love with his best friend Roxanne, who is forced to marry this greedy duke played by Ben Mendelsohn, and Roxanne really loves this soldier called Christian, played by Calvin Harrison Jr., who is also in another film on this list that I'll talk about in a bit, and they kind of become friends, him and Cyrano do, and he helps him woo Roxanne, even though he's trying to woo him for himself.
Yeah, it's a pretty perfect movie. I'd have to say
it was like the second. It was like out of the films I watched in the cinema this year, like this was like the second film out of all the films this year that I would have called a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's epic. It's got a huge
the
production
cinematography
value.
when he's having the sword fight is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that with even like the plastic swords is so cool, and when he's running through them, and it's just a great production. I mean, costumes were amazing, makeup was well done.
The highlight is Peter Dinklage's performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think he did really well with the stuff he was given.
I agree.
I'd say Calvin was the best singer out of all of them.
Yeah, he has a good voice. Yeah, I mean Haley's good too. Haley Bennett's really good too. Ben Mendelsohn, not good. It's like putting Russell Crowe in there in Les Miserables.
If Cyrano was made 20 or 30 years, I would have put Jeremy Irons instead. Yeah, no, it just kind of felt like it should have been somebody like Jeremy Irons playing his role. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Ben Mendelsohn to pieces, but he's done a lot. I'd rather watch him in other things where I watch Cyrano for Peter.
Yeah, and he's fine. I mean, he definitely does his part because he is.
No, he's not terrible. He doesn't deserve a Razzie or anything like that.
No, definitely not. 85% Rotten and 86% audience, which is great. 6.3 on IMDb and only 6 million in the box office.
That should be at least an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, I agree.
See, this film should have had more hype around it. It didn't perform well at the cinema. I think on opening night, me and my mate were only like 1 out of 10 people in there.
Yeah, we saw it twice in theaters, and both times it was actually the second time was a re-release.
Was that in February?
Yeah, there was about 30.
That's when I saw it.
We had about 30 people each, but it's a small movie anyway, meaning it's one of those Oscar run movies where it's not really going to make a lot of money in the box office, but critics are going to love it, and
how can me and you both consider it a masterpiece?
Movies just hit people differently,
So other people might not like it as much as we do.
Well, they might. I mean, it just depends on the day they saw it, how they feel that day, what the movie means to them. I love the movie so much that, again, we saw it twice in theaters, but then also I bought the record for it, and we played a lot here. So
nice.
And every song is just so good.
It is.
Yeah, I wish this movie did come out this year because it would definitely be on my top of the year.
Right.
All right.
So number 5.
My number 5 is a movie that is part of a franchise that I love so much. It's definitely not a perfect movie, but I had a great time in theaters. I really enjoyed the nostalgia of it all. I love the new characters. I love the new twists. And they're making another one. I don't know why they didn't put a 5 after it, but they just renamed it Scream. Scream is my number 5.
I didn't see this one.
Yeah, well, everyone's back. Everyone's back. Courtney Cox, Nev Campbell, David Arquette. We have a new addition with Jack Quaid, who's a part of The Boys, and Melissa Barrera, who was in Into the Heights, which was a great movie that I enjoyed. You also have Dylan Minnette, who's
I like Dylan Minnette.
Yeah, who's doing really good. Kyle Gallner. I don't want to say much more because some of it is spoilers, but this is the tale that we all know. It's just another installation to it. This is sort of like the Jurassic World movies. It's just like I'm going to see it no matter what, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. And I did enjoy this, and I saw it again in theaters just to see it with another different friend, and we all had a great time both times seeing it. And it's not a perfect film, but it does have some scares in it, and it gave me all of the nostalgia feels and was one of my top of the years so far. This one has a box office budget, or the budget was $24 million, worldwide gross is $140 million. So made some money. That's probably why it's going to have another one. Rotten Tomatoes score 76%, 81% audience. So pretty good overall, I'd say.
Sounds good. I've been meaning to check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to rush out and see it if you've seen the other ones, but
I've seen the first three.
Yeah, the fourth one's whatever. But yeah, this is on the top 100 of the best of the year on Rotten Tomatoes. So I say give it a watch.
Nice. My number 8 is one that I'm hoping one that I'm hoping is on your list actually. This is a movie that's technically saved cinema for everybody. This is a sequel to a Tom Cruise movie that doesn't have plot, but this one has a really good plot. It's one of the most visually stunning movies ever in terms of cinematography, visual effects. It's got some fantastic stunts in it, and it's Top Gun Maverick.
It's revitalized the theater-going experience, that's for sure.
Yes.
It's still doing really well in theaters, and the first movie to break over $1 billion in 2022.
Yes. This is probably one of the greatest sequels ever. It's like how Terminator 2 is superior to Terminator and Empire Strikes Back is superior to A New Hope. It's just everything you want in a Top Gun movie. This one actually has more of a challenge, more of an intensity. Granted, there are some plot points that do feel like it should be in a Star Wars movie, but I just think this film is entertaining all the way through, and it just makes a really good experience in the cinema. And I'm glad to see people in the cinema and me getting more hours at work and more money.
Yeah, right. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's a great theater going experience. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 99% audience score, 8.6 on IMDb, and it's number 13 of the year right now as far as highest.
And I think it's already in IMDb's top 250.
It says it's top rated movie number 44. So yeah, it is on IMDb. That's crazy. Yeah. $170 million budget.
Ooh.
$170 million. So that has to be because of reshoots as well. And then it's the gross is 1.1 billion. Just ridiculous. All right, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is also a movie that I was surprised that you got before us because it's a British movie. This is a film written and directed by Sir Kenneth Branagh, and this is his childhood in this movie, Belfast. I'm British. I probably like this movie more than you do.
It's also a 2021 release. So
You need to
it
get
falls
you
underneath the
need to get a job
Cyrano.
as a distributor for UK, so we get these films at the same time as you, so that we're not having these arguments right here.
Well, I know, but I mean, if we go by a strictly 2021 because this can't be in your top 10 next year or for the end of the year, because it's a 2021 film.
But you know, I can't nominate it for Fleming Awards because my 2021 Fleming Awards has already happened. So I want to give it a chance to put it in the 2022 so it gets a fair chance. Because it came out in 2022 in February, whereas my awards came out in December, so I had to draw the line there and restart. A lot of film critics do it in the UK.
Well, there are some movies on here that that are
Phantom of
2020
the
release.
Open came out at a festival in 2021, but didn't get a worldwide release till March.
But
The Duke got released, premiered in 2020, but they kept delaying it because of COVID.
Yeah. Well, if you premiere somewhere, that's different than having a theatrical release.
Sound of Metal premiered in 2019, and I didn't get it till 2021.
Yeah, see, a premiere is different than a release because that was a 2020 release. But there are some movies that came out last year that even Rotten Tomatoes has on their list, and it just doesn't, it won't stand at the end of the year. Like Petite Maman is on here, which came out last year. Playground, Compartment Number 6. These were all in the running for international pictures last year and didn't get in. So I don't understand why they have it on their list, but people can, just like you, make up your own shit. It doesn't matter. Like, do whatever you want, Just make it. It's your own. It's yours. So you make it your own. So Tell me about Belfast.
So Belfast is about this boy growing up in the 60s during the Troubles. The first scene you see is him just normally playing in the street with his mates, and his mum calling him for dinner. As he's walking home, all of a sudden a massive riot comes and just... I love an explosion to start the movie, like in Children of Men or Brazil, and this movie gives an explosion to start the movie. Well, I see an explosion at the start of the movie, I know it's going to be a good movie, because they always start with a bang.
Yeah, I mean that's who's the Transformer director? He knows what to do.
Oh, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Bay needs to do a film about his childhood with explosions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Belfast because it just kind of feels like a really hopeful, really sweet movie, because you see the boy and his relationship with his family and the trouble they have to go through in this state of mind, and having to decide whether to stay and be with their family or leave to England and have a better life.
Yeah, this was a sweet little movie. The acting in it is really what elevates it. Cotillard Belfry is one of the greatest performances of last year, in my opinion.
And Kieran Hines was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think this is more about those two performances than anything else. This movie,
not really. Judi Dench shines, and so does the little boy. And Jamie Dornan has his moments.
Shines? I don't think so, but they are good in it, and they do complement the movie. Unfortunately, too many black and white movies last year. Too many try to be stylized, and this movie was definitely highly stylized. But it worked.
This
got nominated.
Worked.
Yeah,
I mean, you can colorize Come On, and that'd still be the same movie. Belfast would lose its dynamic.
I don't think so.
I
don't think you need black and white to try to make your movie different. 48 million worldwide gross is pretty good.
Do you like The Lighthouse, Justin?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Oh, I love The Lighthouse.
I think it's all right. It's I mean, I'll never forget stuff in that movie, and it was one of my top, probably 20 of that year. But
and you love The Artist, and that's in black and white.
I do love the artist. It did not need to be in black and white, but I I mean, at least for then, it's like understandable because it was supposed to be during the silent era, which there
Like
was no color,
Mank.
like Mink. Well, but even Mink, like the thing with that is he wasn't living in a black and white world. It could have been a colored world. They just didn't do color. But see, yeah, you just don't need black and white to stylize your movies.
I tell you what I do like. Tell you my favorite use of black and white. It's flashback scenes.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of gives you.
And going back to Belfast, I think what could have made this movie a bit better, and you see this on the DVD, because there's a deleted scene of it. It would have been better if you saw Kenneth Branagh as the older version of himself in that movie, the older version of Buddy, like before and after, because it would like be like he's reflecting on his life, a bit like Walk the Line and Bo Rap and that kind of stuff.
Bo Rap. Yeah. 86% of Rotten Tomatoes, 92% from the audience. That's great. 7.3 on IMDb. Yeah, fantastic film. I'm sorry that you had to wait so long to see it.
I was really excited for it as well.
Yeah. One of my girlfriend's favorites from last year.
Nice. Sounds like your girlfriend has a good taste in movies.
Oh, yeah? Why don't you ask her about 365 Days, huh?
I hate that movie.
Exactly. So anyway, moving on to my number 4. This is a movie that I had a blast in. I saw it with my best friend. We were at the theater. I was crying, laughing so much. My stomach hurt so much. I was doing the laughing where I was like moving around in my seat and I just needed to catch my breath. Not because of it being like a great written comedy, but because of how ridiculous and dumb some of these stunts were. But I'm telling you, Jackass Forever is one of the best Jackass movies that they have ever put out. And it is unbelievably hilarious.
I thought you'd only say a film with an infamous actor that I'll talk about later.
Well, I guess you thought wrong. I mean, Johnny Knoxville is infamous.
Johnny Knoxville hasn't won an Oscar, and this actor I'm about to mention later has.
All right. Well, I guess it's because of what you got going on up in your own brain. But I'm talking about Johnny Knoxville here and Jackass Forever. Most of the crew is back, but we also have new flavors in here because, some things get old. So let's bring some people in who, we'd like to see who else get hurt. Stuff that makes people like break their bones and stuff I don't like, but the stunts that they performed in this movie and like the other people that they got to be a part of it and the stunts that they did, just it really worked. And even during like a COVID time, they can do a lot of stuff outside. And I rewatched this probably like a month ago because it was on Hulu and still laughed a bunch of times. So it's even on the second watch, it's still going to make you laugh. And they even did they always do the 0.5, so they did a Jackass Forever 4.5. That's out on Netflix. And so it's a little documentary and you still see more stunts and it's just freaking hilarious. It's very juvenile, very, but it worked with me. And again, I haven't laughed at all as hard this year during a movie. And it's because of those jackasses. So my number 4, Jackass Forever.
I'm not into
Box office.
Jackass. I'm just going to state that now. I'm not into Jackass. I just find that stuff boring. It's just people getting themselves hurt. It's not nothing like if I want to watch people go hurt themselves, I go to the pub and watch people fight in the pub.
Yeah, well, you can get arrested for doing that, and you can't get arrested for doing what they do. So, and punching people is way worse than like hurting yourself. Like you trying to hurt somebody else, you can accidentally kill somebody by punching them. You can't do, you know, these guys have either practiced or don't care about their lives, you know. So I rather not go to a pub and watch people fight. Plus, people who want to fight will fight anybody, and they could just turn around and sock you in the face. And then how would you feel? You'd probably wish you were at home watching Jackass Forever, not with the bloody nose.
Yeah.
Budget of $10 million, worldwide gross 80 million. So that's pretty good. I think this is it for Johnny Knoxville though, because he takes a huge hit to the head in this one, and I think he's done with it. 6.9.
Can't he just go back to doing silly comedies like The Ringer?
Well, I don't think he's allowed to do those movies anymore.
Oh.
I think he made fun of, you know, people of that he shouldn't have in that movie. 86%
as a member of the disabled community, I did find it funny.
Yeah, so I guess you and I just have different humors, because I didn't find that funny, but I find this other stuff funny. 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, 91% overall in the audience score. And what is it of the year here? Because it's on the list. Can you believe that a Jackass movie is on the top 100 on Rotten Tomatoes? That's crazy. 86. So yeah. Anyway, it's too bad. Have you seen any of them?
I watched the first one.
Yeah.
And I was bored after like 20 minutes.
20 minutes, huh?
I found the start of it really funny, but then I'm just like, is this just going to be it? Just them doing ridiculous pranks and hurting themselves?
So you never saw the show?
No.
Yeah, the show is where it started. So if you weren't going to watch the show or like the show, then the movie means nothing to you.
A couple of lads at work invited me, but I think I ended up declining.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. I think, yeah, give it a go one day. What's your number? Where are we at? 6?
6, yes. This is my favorite. This is so far my favorite animated film of the year so far. It's the third animated film by Mr. Richard Linklater. It's Apollo 10.5, A Space Age Childhood.
Apollo 10.5, yes. Fantastic movie. Very sweet.
Yes, like Belfast, it's about a boy in the 60s and he gets recruited by NASA to go on the moon. But it's not just about the moon landing, it's about the culture in the 60s, and that's why I find it so fascinating. The animation is beautiful. I don't know whether he did the rotoscope, or whether he just got to try and animate humans and like that way. But his animation in this one has like gone to a new level than it was on Scanner Darkly. Jack Black narrates this movie perfectly. It's like it's an audiobook and he's telling this story. And then you got Mr. Zachary Levi, and this is also the second film to star Mr. Glenn Powell.
Because he was in what?
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, this is a sweet, sweet film, and definitely one of the best animated films of the year, because who's going to put Turning Red as better than this?
I'd say Lightyear was more of a disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turning Red, what I saw was what I got, really. With Lightyear, I expected something like mind-blowing.
Yeah, this is like a sort of like a tracing animation, like a Scanner Darkly.
Rotoscoping.
Yeah, and I really like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a box office because it was on Netflix.
It did have a quick release date in cinema, but I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, it has to, because it wants to be up for Oscar contention, and you have to be released for at least 1 week in cinema to be an Oscar-nominated movie. So
Yes, because
I'm sure that's why.
I'm hoping Blonde gets early release for cinema, and I hope we're doing it because I'd love to see that in cinema.
Is that a cartoon?
Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe film.
Well, why wouldn't you get it?
I'm hoping to because they'll probably want Ana de Armas to win the Oscar.
Yeah. Of course they're gonna put it out. I mean, it's a 2022 release, right?
Yeah, it comes out in
Yeah.
September.
Yeah. 91% for Apollo 10 and a half. 83% audience. Come on, audience. 46 on the year on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.3 on IMDb.
Nice. So you ready for the start of my top 5 then?
I'm ready. Wait. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay, because I'm expecting at least one of these 5 films to be in your list. My number 5 is the third movie from Robert Eggers. This is a man who keeps getting better and better as he goes along in directing, and I think now he's made his masterpiece in The Northman. And you love Nicole Kidman, so this should be in your list.
Just because I love somebody? Just because she's in a movie that it should be on my list?
Yeah, don't you expect? I bet you're expecting Bullet Train to be my number 1 because Brad Pitt's in it.
No, I do not expect that because it is just because it's an actor that you like doesn't mean you're gonna like the movie.
I like a lot of Brad Pitt movies. I'm not a big fan of Troy, but that's about it.
Like Boy Erased was not anywhere close to my top 10 and Nicole Kidman's in it, like Suffragette had Meryl Streep in it, doesn't mean it's my favorite of the year. Julia is about to come out with the new movie with George Clooney, and I guarantee it's not going to be my favorite movie of the year. So just because you love an actor doesn't mean it's going to be a great movie. And this movie is not in my top 10 at all. Like nowhere. It's not even in my favorites of the year. Unfortunately, it didn't hit the mark in my opinion. But tell me about The Northman.
Okay, so I like the story of Prince Hamlet, and this seems like this movie was inspired by Hamlet, but what this movie is based on is what inspired Hamlet.
What?
This is about a Viking prince whose father is killed by his uncle, and his kingdom has been captured by him. So he runs off to avoid death. And for years he trains up to be this Viking warrior to take his uncle down. And then he finds out that his uncle lost the kingdom and went to exile. He ruined their kingdom, so now he thinks, right, he ruined my life, he ruined our kingdom, and now I'll take my revenge. And this revenge I consider is justified. His uncle practically ruined his life, and is the reason why he's in this. And he fucked up his own country. He fucked up his own kingdom because he was a terrible leader. If Simba didn't stop Scar in the Lion King, Simba would have probably destroyed all of Africa.
Yeah, this movie's pretty rocking though. Very brutal, very raw. The coloring and the landscape of it all was really good. Yeah, I think they did a lot of.
The cinematography is probably the best we've had this year. This is probably like Dune level cinematography.
Yeah, the coloring's really great. Meaning it seems like they did a lot of practical lighting. Just by candlelight and stuff like that, which is always hard to do, but really interesting. Yeah, the cast is amazing. Ethan Hawke is like killing it lately.
Yeah. Although I did find the plot twist a bit predictable.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I think that was the only reason why it didn't blow my mind as much as the other 4 films did.
Yeah.
So I saw because it had like a predictable outcome and a predictable twist. It's just kind of the aesthetics of like the Norse mythology and obviously how Vikings lived and stuff, and obviously being captured with that gorgeous cinematography, just completely mind blowing.
Yep, it's a great film. It's definitely worth talking about. Budget was 60 million, 68.4 million worldwide, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, 64% audience score. So I think that's kind of where I'm living. 7.2 on IMDb. Did it make the top? Yep, number 56 on the IMDb. So pretty good so far for the year.
I think a lot of people will probably have this as their number one.
It was on a lot of people's lists. I just like his other one maybe a little bit more.
What, The Lighthouse and the Witch?
Yeah, I think it goes Lighthouse, then The Northman, then the Witch.
What, as in The Witch is your favourite?
No, least favorite.
Yeah, it's my least favourite of his as well.
But they're all great, and everyone talks about them. Like,
definitely. It's just The Witch. The only good thing that like makes it is the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yes. All right, here we go. Getting my bronze here is a movie that I saw by myself, had a great time, laughed a bunch. Not as much as Jackass, of course. That one's more of like a, oh my god, I can't believe stuff's happening. But I was laughing with everybody in the theater. They had a great time. I was laughing with the people on the screen because the people on the screen were no doubt having a great time. And it really shows. And when you see somebody who is an Academy Award winning actor who gets to have fun, especially when you feel like he, maybe recently has kind of had a little renaissance maybe, but he's never gone away because he's in a movie pretty much every year, maybe two, maybe three, because he makes these small movies. This one's a little bit of a bigger movie, and we all know that Nicolas Cage had a great time in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Do you mind if I jump on board in this conversation because this is my number 4?
Sure.
Finally, you have a film that me and you both match on.
Yeah, exactly. Finally. Because the other ones, not so much. Yeah. Well, this is just what I was saying. It's a fun movie. We know that
deserves his second Oscar for this role.
No.
If he does not get a nomination for Best Actor, then I'm going to boycott the Oscars.
Well, then you better start boycotting now because there's 0% chance he's going to get nominated. 0.
It's all right. So I'm planning to nominate him for the Flemings anyway.
Yeah, it's rare when any comedic performance gets
I like to have a range of different genres, not just drama. And I feel like lack of comedy.
No, I know, yeah.
I feel like out of all like the comedic performances, his was the best because he was basically playing himself.
Yeah, and he was playing himself.
A fictional version of himself.
Well, there's also other characters that come in that are him. And I just thought.
Can I just say one thing? He doesn't have a daughter. He has 2 sons in real life, and a daughter on the way.
Yeah. I know. This is not a biopic. This is not a biography about a guy. This is just. It's a spoof. It's a Nicolas Cage spoof movie. But I do believe that he's playing a lot of himself in this movie. But it's just so much fun. Lots of laughs. I mean, when they do the drug and Pedro and Nicolas Cage are like pushing each other over the wall, and then the other guy just walks around. It was like a 5-minute scene, and I was in tears just laughing. They really can make something small really, really funny and seem big. Tiffany Haddish is also in this movie. Neil Patrick Harris.
She's fantastic. Tiffany Haddish is. This is probably her strongest role to date as an actress.
It's pretty solid. But yeah, I just every second of this movie was a blast. It was a lot of
The girl
And
playing
I
his
even
daughter
like the
was
relation that he
really
has
good
with
as
his
well.
dog. Who?
The girl playing his daughter, she's Michael Sheen's daughter, Lily Sheen.
Lily Mo Sheen. Yeah, she was great, and I like their relationship. I'm sure it's you know, pretty close to being true, which would be sad, but yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of comedies out this year, and this is one of the best ones for
This is
sure.
probably the best comedy film of all time.
Of all time, really. 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87%
Well, maybe
audience
not of all
scores.
time. I might just be exaggerating. Maybe the 2020s.
I thought Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar was a really funny comedy of
Yeah, and
2020s,
Don't Look Up was my favorite of last year.
if you can consider that a comedy.
It was a comedy.
28.7 million worldwide, unfortunately, didn't do well in theaters. But critics love it. I love it. Sounds like you love it. 7.1 on Rotten
It'll
Tomatoes.
definitely be a cult classic in 5 years' time.
I think it'll be above that because it's just so fun and funny, and people just need to see it. I think once it hits like a good streaming platform, it may.
So it might do a Shawshank and have like a bad box office, but be regarded as one of the greatest of all times.
No, definitely not. You can rent
Is
it, but
is is that
once it
is
streams
that
for
just
free.
is that just a one of a kind moment? With
No,
the
I just
Shawshank
no.
Redemption.
It's just it's the wrong movie that you're trying to pin it against. Like, there's no way this movie will ever be equivalent to a Shawshank Redemption. Uh, but it's great, and yeah, Nicolas Cage is he's never winning anywhere, but he's back. And I love this movie, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. But yeah, I think once it hits like a Hulu or a Netflix, it's gonna blow up. It should go to Netflix.
When he's working with a good director, he'll make good movies. And this Tom
Gormican.
this Tom Gunn McGinnon must be a guy who knows what he's doing to get a really good performance out of Cage.
Yeah, he also directed That Awkward Moment with Miles Teller and Zac Efron and Michael B. Jordan.
We all have our duds.
I thought that was a fine movie. Imogen Poots is in it.
I might need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I only watched like 20 minutes of it and got tired.
Just like Jackass. Oh boy. All right, what's your number 3 then?
Right, so my number 3 has just entered the spot since Thursday. This is directed by one of the greatest directors of all time, Mr. Baz Luhrmann. He was known for making films that are over the top, out the box, but also bringing some of the greatest performances to known. He loves making crazy style over substance movies, but the subject he was focusing on is probably the biggest story you could tell of a famous singer, a man you could just say one name of, and everybody would know who you're talking about. And this movie is Elvis.
Tell me more.
So I know I said that The Great Gatsby was my favorite Baz Luhrmann film, but this has replaced it now because I thought the story was a bit more entertaining all the way through. I know it's not entirely accurate to Elvis's life, but I think from the angle Baz Luhrmann was trying to tell it from, it worked solid. I went to see this with my two buddies, and one of my buddies told me yesterday that he now regards this as his all-time favorite movie. Originally was The Dark Knight, and I've just been thinking because it does have like two solid performances from Austin Butler as Elvis, who was phenomenal. Definitely deserves a Best Actor nomination this year. And there's a Tom Hanks, who critics were saying that he was terrible, but I thought actually he's really good in this because he's playing an over the top European character like Kenneth Branagh did in Tenet, or Ray Winston did in in Black Widow, but it suits Baz Luhrmann because it's over the top. And you also have Toby Smith McPhee, who obviously broke out with Power of the Dog, who's always been a great actor, but last year obviously was kind of his year with that movie. And see him again, still show off a good small supporting performance. You also have David Wenham and Richard Roxburgh, who obviously love working with Baz Luhrmann, have been in his movies before, and he gets great performances out of them. The woman, Helen Thompson, the one that played his mum, was pretty good. The woman that played Priscilla was perfection. And you got Billy from Stranger Things in this and a lot of other Australian actors. But I think with the cinematography and the editing, which really created the Baz Luhrmann style to tell this Elvis story in, was perfection. I just think this is a top 3 film, and I would happily go and watch it again. And once it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to buy it.
And this is your other Kelvin Harrison Jr.
Yes, just he plays BB King. But he looks and sounds differently. I couldn't tell it was him until the credits.
Oh, yeah. Well, we knew not the first time, but the second time I was like, oh, that's him. Yeah, I think this is a great movie. Not in my top, but
you still prefer Moulin Rouge in your own personal opinion.
Yeah, but there's no question I prefer it. Like it's like apples and oranges. You got one.
Compared this to Australia, right?
This is better than Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
But because I think he just does musical movies better, like music movies better. Even
though The Great Gatsby isn't a musical, it still has a brilliant soundtrack, and so does Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. I just feel like we didn't learn much about Elvis. I feel like this was more about his relationship with the Colonel, which is fine, but I just didn't learn anything new about Elvis, and that's what I want.
Aren't you bored of like the paint by numbers biopic?
No, I need something to learn about somebody in a biopic. I didn't learn anything new from him,
So you didn't so you knew he went to the army?
It's definitely, yes, it's like one of the most known things about the guy.
So you knew he was an actor?
Yes. He's made movies. You didn't know this stuff about him?
No, I did.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing we didn't learn anything new about him at all, and that's unfortunate. But it is
I didn't know about Tom Parker. I didn't realize how like of a knob he was to him. I only heard the name because they parody it in a Simpsons episode. They call an episode Colonel Homer, and the reason why it's called that is it's a parody of Colonel Tom Parker, his Elvis manager. Never bothered to look into him until this movie came out.
I wanted them to dive more into his relationship with his mother because that seemed a little bit odd. And I wanted to see more of like the drug use and abuse because we didn't get to see that sort of dark side. I wanted them to dive more into it like they did in Walk the Line, and he just didn't do that. So, but it's a great movie, and I do think.
But in Bohemian Rhapsody, we don't explore more of his side struggling with his sexuality.
I didn't like that movie, and I'm not talking about that movie. I'm talking about Walk the Line. I'm not talking about
but
another
in Walk the Line, we don't know what happened. We don't know how he died. Well, it just said in the subtitles that he died.
No, but everyone knows how he died in like real life. So that was news when it happened, just like when Elvis died. It was news. Like, we know what's happening. So, but anyways, I'm glad that it's on your list, and yeah, it's a great film. That was your number 3?
Yes, my number 3, Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. And I kind of hope his next movie isn't in the next 9 years like it was in this one.
78% Rotten Tomatoes score, which is probably what I'd give it. 94% from the audience.
Yeah, I
Seven
can
point
see it being more of an audience pleaser, this one.
7.8 on IMDb, which is great.
Yeah.
Worldwide gross so far is 113 million, so doing pretty good.
I would like to give it more rewatches.
Yeah, it's not on the top 100 of the year so far, so that's unfortunate.
It's only been out for like a week.
Oh yeah, it is 88. It's 88. Well, I mean, I just saw Lightyear, so I was like, it has to be on here. But yeah, it's number 88, so that's good. All right, my number 2 has already been talked about, and this is what I'm talking about. How this year is just, in my opinion, shit. This is a fantastic movie, but if Maverick is my number 2, that means we are having a bad year. Okay, Top Gun Maverick is a great blockbuster film, and just like you said, way better than, not way better, but definitely better than the first, like Judgment Day is. The cinematography, being in the cockpit, is so amazing. We get to fly around with him, and it's just like you said, there's more. There's more things that can.
To mention, I love the Lady Gaga song at the end.
Yeah, Hold My Hand. Yeah, there's.
I've added it to my Spotify playlist. I've been like listening to it all the time, like you do with musical CDs.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, the production in this is just amazing, and just like you said earlier, that there's actually some stakes. We feel the stakes here. There's a lot at stake. Unfortunately, we don't know why or what for. We never meet like the villain in the movie, but we know that there is one, because they tell us the entire time, and they make us believe that there is one. And yeah, this is Tom Cruise is back, and he's teaching other pilots how to do this next sort of mission that they have to go on. And he's the only one who could do it, so he says that he needs to be a part of it as well. And of course, Tom Cruise is so badass that his name is above the title, as always. Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick. This movie is just rocking. I love Jennifer Connelly in this movie. I think just amazingly great looking in it. Yeah, Miles Teller does a really good job as Goose's son, Rooster. We do get to see Val Kilmer. John Hamm does, his John Hamminess that he always likes to do. And yeah, Glenn Powell was, he's great. Glenn Powell was fun in this movie as well, as the antagonist. And yeah, this movie is doing really well box office wise, as I said earlier, and on Rotten Tomatoes.
Val Kilmer was very good in his cameo as well.
Yep, I mentioned that a little bit ago. Yeah, directed by Joseph Kosinski, who also released one of the worst movies of this year. So it's crazy how you can go from doing the best and doing the worst. But Maverick is an action film. Worth Review Movies would love action movies over here. So, of course, this was going to be in my top 5. But what I'm saying is step it up 2022, because I need some killers in here, all right?
Yes. And you ready for what? You ready for my number 2?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because you've already said the box office.
Yeah, I've already.
My number 2 is the only one of these films I own on Blu-ray so far. I've seen this movie twice at the cinema. It's probably my favorite superhero. It may not be the best movie with this character, but it is a masterpiece, and it's The Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert Pattinson is now Bruce Wayne's Batman, and during his second year of crime fighting, he's got to solve these crimes that the Riddler is causing. The Riddler is the serial killer. He's going around killing corrupt officials in Gotham, and while Batman's trying to solve his crimes, he opens his mind to this world of corruption in Gotham, and this film plays a bit like Seven and Zodiac. If David Fincher directed this movie, then this would be an 18 rating. But what I love about this movie is Matt Reeves' direction, how he elevates this movie to like proper cinema level experience of Batman. This does not feel like a comic book movie. It's a mix between Burton and Nolan put together. It's a love child between them two, and it's this brand new thing. And I just want to explore more of this new Gotham, which is dark and corrupt and hatred. But the man who steals the show in the cast is Mr. Colin Farrell as Penguin. That's in my top 5 favourite supporting actor performances this year.
Agreed. Mine as well. Yeah, this is a fantastic film. I mean, it's just like you said, it's one of the Batman. I mean, it's just another take on Batman, something that we've seen before, but it was done really well. Very long, at almost 3 hours. I do agree that Colin Farrell was fantastic, but I am in the minority of also stating that I think Zoe Kravitz is one of the main shines in this movie.
No, she's up there in my favourite supporting actresses list this year as well.
Okay, good. So
you're not in the minority. I loved her.
No, I know, but everyone else does not. They're like, well, she didn't even need to be in the movie.
I've not read any bad reviews saying about Zoe Kravitz. So it'd be just thoughts about her performance and how good it is.
Yep. Jeffrey Wright also, John Turturro,
amazing,
Peter Sarsgaard,
amazing.
Andy Serkis, Barry Keoghan.
Amazing.
Yeah, and this film is amazing. It's really, really good.
I think Paul Dano's a better Riddler than Jim Carrey. No offense.
No offense taken. It's a great opinion of yours. 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87 for the audience, 75 number 75 overall for the year, and 7.9 on IMDb. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen The Batman, I don't know why you haven't. Go out and check it out. It's awesome.
Yeah, did it just miss the list?
Nope, it was never going to be on it.
Did the runtime put you off a little bit?
No, I'm a movie guy. I don't care about runtime.
What
I mean, the movie, if we're talking about the movie could have been shorter, that's true. It could have been shorter. There's some stuff they could have cut out. But, yeah, 3 hours was fine.
My favorite scene in this movie is the car chase between Batman and Penguin. It looks like a car chase and like the old-fashioned action. Days of like CGI. It just kind of felt like it was all done with camera shots.
Yep. Yeah, and I do think Robert Pattinson did a great job as Batman.
Yeah, he just needs more time to fit into the character.
Well, yeah, he needs more time to fit into Bruce Wayne part.
I agree with you 100%. I still slightly preferred him in Tenet.
Yes. And Twilight.
Well, now you're just being mean.
All right, what's your number one?
My number one, it might be everybody's number one, so I'll just say it's Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, God, of course it is.
And I bet Justin's probably hates this movie.
No, I don't. Definitely not. It's too much multiverse, too much at one time. I don't need it.
But this is a much better movie than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which would have been number 10 if Elvis didn't show up on my eyes.
Yeah, I mean that one's Multiverse of Madness is an also rant for me.
Nice. So Everything Everywhere All at Once sees Michelle Yeoh, who played this struggling laundromat ownership. She's struggling to get along with her daughter because her daughter's trying to obviously get her mum to accept a new relationship with her girlfriend, and obviously she's going through a divorce with her husband, who is the little boy from Indiana Jones and the Temple of
Short
Doom.
Round.
Yeah, Short Round. It's a Short Round as an adult, and boy, has he gotten so much better acting.
Yes, he grew up.
Yeah, yes. So obviously, I think he's had like the odd job on the film. in the film industry, but this is like the first time he's reappeared since the Goonies.
Yeah. No, I know. We've missed him because he was so awesome in this movie.
He was awesome in this movie, and so was Michelle Yeoh, who is always
Yes.
awesome, but in this movie she's all the awesome that she can be. So she gets so during a visit to the IRA with her agent being Jamie Lee Curtis, who also steals the show in this movie.
So good.
She is amazing in it. While this time, she's been contacted by an alternative version of her husband, who says that she is the key to locking the multiverse. So she's got to fight around all these figures that are trying to kill her, while trying to unlock her more of a multiverse selves and try and stop this evil entity from happening. And without ruining it, this is probably one of the best written movies I've ever seen of the 2022. I know Tenet and Don't Look Up have been favourites, and so is obviously The Father, Promising Young Woman, Trial of Chicago 7, and obviously all the movies I've just listed now. This beats all of them out the ballpark because they try a new idea with the multiverse, but they don't like bringing characters we know, like with Doctor Strange. They create these new characters who we don't even have to know. We just want to see their journey and just see an entertaining story that's never done before. And this had some really new ideas, so I can even imagine. I can't even compare this to any other movie I've seen. It probably was inspired by Inception and a lot of comic books and stories about multiverses. I know obviously Marvel's not the first people to do it, but yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once really just took this concept and just made something brand new out of it, and that's why it's my number one this year.
Yeah, it was on a lot of lists for sure. Directed by the Daniels. Also,
did this one not hit you as hard as it did with me then?
Nope.
No
unfortunately,
worries.
But I do think that the performances are some of the best of the year. I think Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan and Jamie Lee Curtis should all be nominated this year because I think they all did fantastic. And yeah, it's definitely unique and it's fun. But I think it was just a tad overhyped before I saw it. And then also, I just don't need to keep seeing, the multiverse. It's just like with Belfast and Black and White from last year. It's like, I don't need to keep seeing this. Like, give me something new. And this movie did have some new stuff and fresh stuff, but I would say more action, less multiverse. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, 89 for audience score, 8.3 on IMDb, and number 21 of the year so far. Pretty good.
Nice. And your number one, Mr. Doyle?
Has already been mentioned. It's the sweetest movie of the year. Great animation, tons of fun, and it's Apollo 10 and a half, A Space Age Childhood.
Is this your first favorite animated film of the year? Is this your first favorite film of the year to be an animated film?
Is this my first? Have I ever had a number one be an animated film? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, of the year. Was Frozen your favorite film of 2013?
No.
Was WALL-E your favorite film of 2008?
It was definitely one of them, yeah. Up was definitely one of them.
Up is my favorite film of 2009.
I always have at least one animated movie in my top 10 for sure, but I don't know if anyone has made number one. But yeah, I just like this movie a little bit more than Maverick only because it's unique. I've never seen anything like it before. I think that the story is really cool. I can't imagine growing up in a town that just lived and breathed off of like NASA and space and stuff. So, because I don't really care about that stuff and like astronauts. I mean, I love that they do that, but there's like the ocean that we should be paying attention to that's here on Earth. I don't know what we're doing up in space, but
I believe aliens exist. I have it on a T-shirt.
Okay, then that must mean it's true. But anyway, there's a lot more to seek out here on Earth than up in space. But anyways, just really awesome slice of life. Just family fun. I mean, anybody
It's
if at
very
any age.
similar to one of your favorite films of the last decade, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Does that dealt with 60s nostalgia?
Right. But I
So you
don't
must
really
seem
know.
like your favorite films have like some 60s nostalgia. Did you want to grow up in the 60s?
No, because I don't care about the '60s too much. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was definitely more of a Hollywood love than a '60s anything. It was more about Hollywood than anything. But yeah, this movie is just fantastic. I mean, it's good for any age. I think kids will watch it at home, and I think parents who watch it with them are going to get a great kick out of it too. And it will be up for Best Animated Picture of the Year. And I hope it wins because right now nothing is giving it a run for its money.
Maybe
Apollo
Minions,
10 and a half is
maybe Minions Rise of Gru might. That's the last hope I'm having.
no.
Or maybe that new Disney film they're advertising with Jake Gyllenhaal might beat it.
We'll see. Everyone would think that Lightyear would be a lock, but it's turned out it wasn't a good movie
No.
or a great movie. I didn't mind it, but it's not great.
No,
I think
and
it's better than
I
Turning
think I
Red.
think Turning Red will get a nomination for the animation, but it'll be like the least like best one of the 5.
Yeah. All right, let's count them down.
My number 10 is Phantom in the Open, and my number 9 is Cyrano.
My number 5 is Scream. 5.
My number 8 is Top Gun Maverick, and my number 7 is Belfast.
My number 4 is Jackass Forever.
See, this is where it gets good. Does my number 6 is Apollo 10.5, and my number 5 is The Northman.
My number 3 is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
which is my number 4, and my number 3 is Elvis.
My number 2 is Top Gun Maverick.
My number 2 is The Batman.
And my number, go ahead.
And my number 1 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And my number 1 is Apollo 10.5, A Space Age Childhood.
Good. I'm glad that 3 of the films are on your list. And I think the one that we averagely matched up with is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, so we only would have tied on 1 had you only had 5.
Yeah.
Any also rants?
Yes, I do. So number 11 would have been Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. I have that on mine.
No, my number 12 was, I know it came out in its native country last year, but it's The Worst Person in the World.
Mm-hmm.
My number 13 was another film that got delayed. It was Belle, the anime one.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4 was RRR, and my number 15 was your favorite movie of last year, Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, let's see. I have the first movie of the year that I thought was not bad was the 355. I know nobody liked that one. I enjoyed Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore a lot.
That was better than the second one.
Yeah, RRR is good. The Batman, of course. Kimmy was really good from this year.
Yes, that would have been an honorable mention later down the list.
And then also the movie X.
I need to see
the
that
horror
one.
film.
I thought that would have been on your what would be on your top 10 at least.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I made 10, maybe I could have, but I just didn't. Think it's not true. It's not fair.
Other ones I've liked were obviously Spiderhead, Boiling Point, Hello Mothers, Licorice Pizza, A Hero, Operation Mincemeat, the Louis Wayne movie, Mass, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and The Lost City.
Yep, Lost City and Chippendales are on mine too, because they were fun movies. Some that are on the other list that I saw is Downfall, the Boeing documentary, Crimes of the Future, which I liked a lot, but I'm surprised that it's on a lot of people's lists. Good Luck to You, Leo Grand has been a popular one.
I need to see that one.
Yeah. The Fallout from HBO Max is on a lot of people's lists. Cha Cha Real Smooth is
one film that I've appeared on a lot of people's lists, which didn't touch me as much as it did with others, is Hustle, which is weird because I love Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. I contradicted you with Nicole Kidman. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. The movie called The Pink Cloud, I think is a documentary I haven't even heard of, but The Northman was on there. We're all going to the World's Fair. That one sounds interesting. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Benediction, Jackass, Happening, Friends and Strangers. That was one that came up. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Worst Person in the World, Petite Maman. See these two? Those are movies from last year. Donbass. Donbass is a movie that came up, and then After Yang came up a lot in
I need to see that one
in my research, but yeah, cool. Any recommendations for this week?
Yes, my number 3 is actually a recommendation, Elvis.
Aha.
I wish you said it more like Elvis would. Looks better.
Yeah. All right. So I did see Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, and it was pretty okay. But I'm going to recommend Fire Island, which is a movie that's out on Hulu.
A movie Cody recommended.
Oh, yeah. So I saw it, and it's great. It's a rom-com, but it's only men, because it's about a group of gay guys that go to Fire Island, because it used to be the island where gay guys could go and lesbians could go and dance together without getting arrested in the 60s. So it still stands, and they have a friend over there, Margaret Cho, who has a house, and then they just spend the week there, and it's about, hooking up and friendship and family, and the last summer there, and it was just great. I mean, it would be just like any other sort of rom-com, rated R rom-com, like a Bridesmaids, or yeah, I just thought it was really funny and really sweet, and yeah, people should check it out. Fire Island.
Definitely. I am sorry to hear that you haven't loved the films as I have this year.
Me too. I'm very sad.
Have you got any films you're looking forward to the second half of the year? Because I'm looking forward to 4 coming out, and obviously Don't Worry Darling looks really good.
I don't even know what's coming out.
Avatar: The Way of the Water looks fantastic.
Don't really care. Not into it.
Black Panther 2 might be good.
Okay, all right. You know what? I am looking forward to Nope.
I'm looking forward to Nope.
I am looking forward to the Bulletproof one, the Adam or Brad Pitt movie.
Bullet Train, yeah.
Let's see. I know there's isn't there a Steven Spielberg movie coming out?
Yes, it's about his life.
I do want to see that. Hocus Pocus 2 might be good.
Belfast, basically.
Better not be in freaking black and white. Amsterdam is a movie that
I want to see that because of Bale. And I'm also looking forward to another movie with Brad Pitt coming out, Babylon, which might be out in January for me, but Either way,
Yeah.
I'm seeing it.
It says, December 25th for us. It says, December 25th for us. Yeah,
Yeah.
Babylon, The Fablemans, Amsterdam.
Because they're saying Babylon, they're saying that the test audience that have seen Babylon are calling it a masterpiece.
Okay. Bullet Train, nope. Yeah, those are it. Yeah. Cool. I hope it gets better. I hope.
Yes.
We're gonna go see Mr. Malcolm's List tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Let,
Cool.
let me know if that is a potential best picture winner.
No way. No
Just,
way. But
I didn't listen to you about Coda last year, and I missed out when I could have watched Best Picture like in the year it should have won.
yeah, I'm usually really good about picking what's the best movie of the year.
Yeah,
Nightmare Alley,
sorry, I just thought that
Coda.
14 better movies are better than Nightmare Alley. I am sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how you feel.
But
And
I
it came
know
out
a lot
last year.
more movies that Nightmare Alley is better than.
Yes, we can play this game all day.
Yes.
Because I can name 50 better movies than Elvis, so that's what it's like, what's the point? Cool. Well, where can people find you?
So people can find me on here, the Fleming Film Show, a podcast me and Justin try and do twice a week. We don't have like a set day, but we try and do it at least once a week.
Yeah, once a week is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And Robbie's Reviews.co.uk.
yeah, robbiesreviews.co.uk.
And
I'm trying, and I'm going to try and rebrand my TikTok at some point. So I want to try and do more things on TikTok, try and get more out on the video platform, and then I'm also trying to think of new ideas for YouTube videos as well. Because like the last year, I've just been doing this on YouTube. I haven't really made anything new.
and what about Marvel Mondays? What's coming out tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow is the first Avengers film.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
And you can find me at Worth of View Movies and all the things, all the platforms. It's Worth of View Movies, except for Twitter's Worthy View Movie because it's too long. But Worth of View Movies, you'll find me. Yeah, great. This was a good episode. Comment down below what's your favorite of the year so far, and if any of ours made it onto your list, let's hear about it. And then if you also have a topic opportunities for us, let us know down in the comments below.
I'm going to be on this month. I'm going to be on Justin's channel talking The Grey Man when it comes out.
Yep, and I'm releasing today the Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, so check that out too.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for viewing. Until next time.
Until next time. Bye-bye, Justin.
Later, buddy. Bye, guys.
Later.